Hey folks, it's Duncan over here. Doing a video I have had to really think hard on. For those of you who do not know what's going on, well, you're lucky. But, for those of you who do not know, in the US recently, a man named George Floyd, a black man, was murdered in the city, or the state of Minnesota, I don't know what, in, I think, Minneapolis, by a policeman. You've probably seen the video of him, begging for them to get off, and to get his, because he could breathe, and then there are three other cops just standing there and doing nothing. And this video for me was a very, very, very tough one to do because well, for one thing, how do you sit there? I need to ask, how do you sit there, after you've seen this video and say, yeah, that's the law enforcement I want. That's the law enforcement I should be looking out for. And also, June 2nd for me, 4chan users are hitting LGBT plus communities. I don't care if they hit the pedophile ones, they can go all ahead for them. But, myself being bisexual, I don't think they'll actually do it. I think they're all bark and no bite, and I think they're actually rather pathetic, really. Oh, I don't like this! Anyway, back onto the George Floyd case, and the four cops, they basically got away with it, didn't have any repercussions, and they basically were almost able to get it scot-free, and then riots all around the world, and I agree with the rioting. What I don't agree with is burning businesses, attacking innocent police officers. I mean, yes, all cops are bastards due to the laws that they cover, they have to enforce, because, allow me to remind everyone, in the last 100 years, empires was still a thing. We were still in a time where empires were there. The French, the German, the British, the Ottoman, the Hungarian, the Russian Empire. And then we started moving towards democracy, and nobody really looked at democracy, except for the US, which should have been a big red flag. And they're all like, yeah, democracy's the best. And then they should have looked at it a bit better and gone, wait a fucking second here, hang on a minute. What happens if you elect someone who isn't a decent fellow? And it should have been looked at a bit more, because, obviously with democracy there's always going to be flaws. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the laws that were built, years ago for countries, are, and constantly being worked on, are flawed because they were built for a time when we were still, where a lot of the world was still under imperial control and stuff like that. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying that, the reason why they could get away with it is because, no, what had clearly happened with George Floyd is these four white cops basically thought, you're just a black man. I'm gonna get away with it because fuck you, you're black. That is literally what they thought. They murdered a black man because he was black. Not because he was resisting arrest, which, again, would still not justify it. I mean, the reason he was on the ground, by the way, folks, for those of you who do not know and have not seen the videos, there was a video on TikTok that shows George Floyd being removed from the car by these cops. And you're kind of sitting there going, okay, so he's resisting arrest? Quotation? Yeah. Question mark? And that was what was happening, is he was resisting arrest and the cops had gone and grabbed him out, but that still doesn't justify murdering him, is what I'm saying. And so George Floyd was murdered. These four cops thought that, oh yeah, we can get away with it. We're cops. We've got the badge. We think we can get away with it, and they tried to, but haven't. One cop the cop who murdered him has been arrested for manslaughter and third-degree murder. The other four cops have lost their jobs. The other three have lost their jobs. All of them will have lost their jobs. So, I'm just going to give you two things. If this was a black cop who had murdered a white man, the same way that George Floyd had, shit would have gotten done. And that's not saying that, oh, white men are more important than black men. Oh, fuck no. What it means is that we are all, our world's views is so obscuredly fucked that it's not funny. That it shouldn't be like what we've got, men dragged from their automobiles and murdered because, oh, the colour of their skin. But if this was a black person, a white person who had been murdered by a black person, shit would have gotten changed. And that pisses me off, is the fact that, we've got this racist ideology. That people who are protesting are labelled as the threats when, people can be, when they're not. I've nothing against peaceful protesting. What I have a problem with is everybody attacking and destroying businesses, looting things like Target and whatnot. And all that, and that's what's pissed off everyone in the world. Is the fact that these officers nearly got away with murder. I do not condemn murder. I do not condone it. I do not think it's a usable thing. I think it's shit that we've got this. This flawed view from Emperor's Vault. And, people are thinking, oh, shit. So what needs to happen because of it? Well, first of all, the police worldwide needs to be reiterated. Every single cop needs to go through extensive training to protect and serve, not sit there and watch. First of all. And next up is, of course, obviously, what needs to happen next. We need to start changing our laws and everywhere in the world needs to start changing the laws that a country has, because what's to say another event like George Floyd is to happen, but this time in a country like that isn't the US, England, or and George Floyd isn't in George. The person who's in George Floyd's position. Sorry about that. My tongue gets tied up, and I'm also suffering pain from the back of my mouth due to other things. Let's just say the person who's in Floyd's position, is someone like is a Muslim, or is a tourist. So basically, what I'm saying is, we need to start looking at the laws to make sure that we don't have a repeat of what happened, ever. It's absolutely disgusting that it happened in the first place. And you can't even say, like, oh, you'd expect this from the US, because you wouldn't. And if you think you're going to be fucking smart and say, oh, he deserved it, then kindly F off and tell the family who just lost their husband, father, whoever, that he deserved it, because frankly, you are part of the problem then. And trust me, in this day and age, we need to start re-looking at how white people see black people, because frankly, I'm sick and tired of this bullshit ideology that blacks are inferior to whites. And let me give you a bit of a history lesson to prove the point. In World War I, before America joined the war, black American troops were already fighting in Europe. The Harlem Hellfighters, under the French. These men, who had gone over in World War I and fought for the French, were regarded by the French as some of the most well-rounded fighters. Black men. I want to go to yourself and wonder what the heck. What else? In England, there was a unit owned by the English that fought in both World War I and World War II. They came from New Zealand. This unit was completely composed of Maori and Pacific Islander. They were called the Maori Battalion. In the Battle of Crete, the Nazi Germans in World War II yelled they were going to bayonet charge them, to which they were met back by by cries of yes, which is not what they were expecting. And to quote Rommel, one of the greatest generals of the Second World War, so much better than Patton, give me a battalion of Maori, and I will conquer you, the Suez Canal. Oh yes, the Desert Fox himself was so impressed by the unruly resolves of the Maori that he would want more of them. Had Britain been under the Axis flag banner, New Zealand probably would have fought. And the Axis probably would have had Maori soldiers and New Zealand soldiers, the Island of Creek in there. But what I'm saying is there are 2 instances, and there are many more instances, of black men, and there are even instances of black women, who have not only shown a much... shown the world that what black people can do, and black people can fight like hell, but not only that, have proven to history to be some of the better fighters than even white men. You had a lot of, I mean, yes, you had black people, you know, desert and shit, because it wasn't their fight. But at the end of the day, it's not what it's all about. It's not the colour of his skin. I saw a TikToker, he's a US Marine, and he's holding up a bunch of crowns. And he says, this is a colour. I am not a colour. I am not a crown. Stop, and nor are you. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, whoever. We are not crowns. I'm not going to be protesting because it's not my thing. Sorry. But I am extremely angry and upset about what happened to George Floyd in the US. My condolences go to his family. But don't believe everything the media tells you. First of all, because the media likes to lie and twist stories to their own thing. Oh no. That we all know. Fox and CBBN or whatever the fuck they're called. And second of all, stay safe. If you are protesting, please do it peacefully. There's no point trying to do it aggressively, because if you do it aggressively, no, you're just a part of the problem. And frankly, we don't need to start tearing each other apart. We don't need to start a race war, because frankly, nobody would win that one. And yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you are, of course, upset about the George Floyd case, join the club. Everybody is. But there is shit that needs to be done. All lives matter. Black lives matter as well. And if you ever think that it is racially okay to say that black men are inferior, kindly fuck off. This is Duncan Ever, St. Ewan's Imperium. I'll catch you next time.